We are live here with Lisa Poisso, a book coach and editor who's going to be speaking at our Independent Publishers of New England, aka IPNE conference next week. It's November 1st and 2nd, and I think you're going to be Saturday at 1 o'clock in the
That's
afternoon.
right, after lunch.
Yeah, so welcome to our little preview. We're hoping to give people a taste of what they're going to get at the conference. It's I know there's a lot going on. So we want to explain why you need to be at this conference if you're an independent or small publisher. So we are happy to have you, and your topic is one it's pretty. There aren't a lot of other ones in the conference about the writing process, but why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and then about the presentation at the conference?
Sure, happy to. Thank you.
Yeah.
My name is Lisa Poisso, and I am a book coach, a story coach to be more precise, and an editor. My specialty is brand new authors, debut authors, although I do work with people who are a little further down the road. What I really like to get into, though, is helping people who are at the very beginning of their journey. There's so much to master. And what I've found is that coaching is the way to just speed up that whole process. I work with more frequently mature adults who are midstream in career or possibly newly retired, who have the time and the effort and the mental bandwidth to really dig in, but they want to make progress. They don't want to take forever to study, to take classes, to read books, to drag the whole process of learning out. They want to know, what do I need to know? And how do I apply it to this manuscript right here? So that's kind of where I'm coming from, which applies to this particular session as well. Charlotte will be talking about scene control, how to control your scenes so that every scene in your book is pushing the story forward in some way. Whether that's action, which is the obvious thing, but also it could be character, and then when you can do other things and when you can't.
Okay.
There's a lot of when you can't, but there's good reason for it. So I want everybody who's a writer to understand why scenes should not be doing certain other things later in the book.
Yeah. And what are some, like, can you give some examples of people that have come to you without names, of course, but, people that have come to you with issues with their manuscript, and they may or may not think that they are ready to go. And
A lot of the time, it's big structural issues, with the story that they haven't quite thought through all the way. I see a lot of big problems, like character arcs that don't actually intersect with the story. They're sort of just tacked on. We have a character who's going through this very well-plotted story, but they have this wound, this gaping, deep emotional wound that doesn't seem to do anything other than create an excuse for navel gazing every now and
it
then.
just
So,
popped into the writer's head and they put it down
yeah,
and they didn't think about
yeah,
connecting it, maybe.
that's a
Yeah.
pretty common problem. But
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
scenes that aren't scening, as I like to say, are really one of the more common problems that I see
Scenes that aren't what?
that aren't scening. I'm making a verb out of that noun just
Okay.
blatantly. Yes, I am. But
No, you're entitled to.
scenes that don't seem cause a lot of problems, whether they're wandering and they're interesting
Mhm.
and they're well written. Many of them are very well written, entertaining even. There is a place for entertainment, sheer entertainment scenes, um, in a manuscript, but certainly not every scene and certainly not multiple scenes in a row. These scenes need to have purpose. You're in charge. And so you need to know that your scenes are moving the story or moving the character in a way that it's information that readers need to know and that they want to know, that they're itching to know, that it's urgent, that they're not just
Yeah.
wandering, looking at what's happening and trying to put this together somehow. We want writers knowing this is what the character is up to, and we're going to follow every bit of it, by gosh and by golly.
Yeah. And do you in this session at the conference, will you be covering some tools that people can use to kind of, like, I know when I'm writing, I just kind of, my brain isn't that organized to kind of make those connections. Are there like software tools that you can use? You like to use?
Actually, there are,
Mhm.
some tools that can prompt you for scene structure.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to mention those specifically right now?
Are you going to be covering that at the
I
conference
will
session?
mention it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
I
know
will mention
Scrivener is
those
one of
tools.
them that people use. Is that?
I'm not sure that Scrivener
Oh,
actually digs into the
oh, okay.
scene
Okay.
level. I'm sure they
Right.
do at the plot level, but I'm not sure they do at the
Okay.
scene level. But there
Okay.
are, however,
Yeah.
tools that do that.
We don't
Um,
need to get into them right now. Just, I'm sort of a gadget freak, so I like to have
right.
these little tools that they really do help. Yeah,
Oh,
they help me.
absolutely,
I
and
don't
I'm big on reading lists, so
yeah.
I
Okay.
definitely we was sharing my favorite
Yeah.
books and, lots of good articles on the web that can help you with scene
Yeah.
structure and purpose, and then we will talk about a lot of, little criteria and little questions that you can ask about
Okay.
scenes that will not only help you write them, help
Mhm.
you revise them, but also if you're completely not approaching this from an author's viewpoint and you're approaching it from a publishing
Mhm.
viewpoint, you can look at the book objectively and say, yes, this is effective storytelling, or no, this book is wandering around and
Yeah.
it's coming around at certain points to some story, but we don't have a coherent through
Yeah, I
line
could
yet.
see how that would be very helpful for someone like me that publishes other people's books or when your manuscripts are incoming, submitted,
Absolutely.
like we were talking about earlier, to give like a little checklist of things that look
Mhm.
for. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, well, great. I'm really excited to see this, and I appreciate the perspective from the publisher, not just the writer's point of view. So, um, we'll make a case for people to come to your presentation, and just a little plug for the conference. You can go to ipne.org and register. Your registration includes a year of IPNE membership, um, either a renewal or a new membership. And we have some sponsors: Phoenix Books and Onion River Press, Pierce Press, which is my company, ScottChannel.com. He's our president, Scott. VoiceOver Vermont is an audiobook producer. And editor Odile Sullivan Tarazi is also on our board, as well as author B.J. Magnani, who has a 4-book series about a poison as an assassination tool. That's
Nice.
not the only thing, but she's the first one is the queen of all poisons. So BJ and she's a pathologist by trade. So thank you again, Lisa. You're the best. We really look forward to a week from Saturday when you'll be on at the IPNE conference.
I'm excited about it too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Take care.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye-bye.